So there's something that I want to bring up. Obviously, most everybody knows the game of Fox News. It's not about giving you the news, it is projection and pushing a narrative. It's like the shows you see on ESPN. It just baffles me the lengths that they go. For example,
It was just, I just can't believe that President Biden would do this at this time. But what's your reaction to it?
Well, it's a slap in the face to all the good Americans who actually deserve to be recognized for their public service or for their sacrifice or for their community activism. You think about all the first responders that risk their lives every day, all the military frontline soldiers who risk their lives every day.
now what they're referring to is Biden giving the Citizens Medal to Liz Cheney and to Benny Thompson. And they got their little feelings hurt. They are incensed that he would possibly give them this honor. It's the second biggest honor you could get as a regular citizen. But again, the irony. At the time, President Trump gives Presidential Medal of Freedom to Ohio's Jim Jordan, which is the highest honor. And I'm sure you had the same question I did, which is, why? What, not reporting essay abuse to your wrestlers? Or did you just do it for being the one thing you're really good at, an ass kisser? I will say it until the end of time. Jim Jordan has not done jack shit in my state of Ohio. The second thing I want to bring up is involving the tragedy that happened in New Orleans the other day. Now, this next clip is from CNN, and don't get me wrong, they're an unmitigated disaster as well. But the host of this show actually calls this guy out a little bit. It's petty theft at this point, but I'll take it. They are referring to Donnie's truth and tweet after this incident happened. And just listen to this word salad.
Invading the country. This is where something like this starts.
Yeah, I mean, this is a problem, and you were saying a few moments ago you can't take him literally. Why shouldn't you take the president of the United States literally? Isn't that sort of a baseline expectation that he should stick to the facts?
I think, look, in this particular instance, and I didn't see the exact language he used in the Truth Social post, I don't think he was saying that this individual crossed illegally, or if he was, it was based on initial reporting that was incorrect, that somebody had crossed that Eagle Pass. We can show it up on screen again. I mean, he's talking about the... But he has a valid
he's blaming
point.
Biden's open borders policy.
And again...
He's talking about that on Truth Social. I mean,
but does he tie it directly to this particular...
When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. Not in this case.
What he is saying in that
Truth Social post is false. That is false.
He's not saying that this individual crossed the border illegally, right. But there were 400 people on the terrorist watch list.
Of course, but when there's an act of terrorism in this country, the incoming president should tell the truth to the American people. I mean, that is just... Isn't that what the president should do at all times?
He's talking about securing the border, and he's been talking for years about...
What else would he have been talking about? This buffoon was either trying to shoehorn in the issue of people coming over the country, or they thought this guy was legit an immigrant, which once again, he was not. The person who carried out the act had a certain skin tone, so he was saying that he was an illegal immigrant, and just broad brushed it and said, the criminals coming into this country are worse than the ones we have in this country. Do you fuckers stretch before you do these mental gymnastics? And finally, this is the one that drives me the most nuts. This is Donald Trump's bitch, Mike Johnson, talking about this exact issue. And by the way, we're back to Fox News.
Let's say something else that's obvious, and I don't know if enough attention is being paid to this, but we all know that for the last 4 years, the Biden administration has been completely derelict in its duty. The congressional Republicans, we here in the House and the Senate, have repeatedly asked the DHS under the Biden administration about the correlation, the obvious concern about terrorism and the wide open border. The idea that dangerous people were coming here in droves and setting up potentially terrorist cells around the
I will keep saying this until I am blue in the face. There was a bipartisan border bill, and you had it dropped because your dear leader didn't want it to go through. A Republican drafted that, and everybody agreed. Even the border agents said, yes, please sign this. But then Donnie would have nothing to run on. Also, Donnie had the White House, the House of Reps, and the Senate when he first got into office, which is why, people, if you are for the red team, they think you are stupid. They think that you are not going to remember that. It's like someone setting a house on fire, calling the fire department, and then blaming the fire department for not putting out the fire fast enough. So, you guys need to pick a lane. Do you really want to secure the border? Do you really want to solve the problem? It's fucking exhausting. But it's not just them. Again, legacy media as a whole is so bad right now. So I'm begging everybody out there, if you see or hear something, look it up and confirm it before you actually believe it. I will leave you a clip from something that I was showing earlier, but this is what needs to be done on every program.
Well, I mean, I just have to
this
say,
push for a
here he
secure
goes
border.
again. He talks about everybody else being fake news, and he's the one peddling fake news.